Briggs, sports consultant and mentor. Today's conversation is more of a wake up call. It may be triggering for some of you guys. Um, it's this is it would be a disservice if I didn't have this conversation with you for those who need it. Um, yeah, so I just feel like I'm holding you high, I'm holding myself high, and making sure that you are in the best situation possible. So this concept of it's your fault, right? Ooh, typo. Let me fix that. It's all your fault. Got it. Okay. All right. So here's what I mean, right? So growing up, um, I would always play the victim role. And again, I'm not saying victim as in like these negative, the worst way possible. I'm just saying the victim as in I always had a reason for something happening and something not happening, right? So here's an example. I'll be 100% transparent and vulnerable. When I moved from Long Beach to Orange County, basically I moved to a school that um, there weren't many kids that looked like me, right? And during that process, I would be bullied and teased, all those things. And then kids started being violent with me. In return, I would be violent back. So kids would try to attack me, then I would beat them up, and then I would be accused of being the bully. So I was kind of confused and I didn't have the words to articulate. But if I'm being attacked or bullied or a kid pushes me and then I push them back with more aggression, I was being seen as, well, you don't look like you were hurt. That kid is hurt. You must have hurt that kid and you're the one to blame, right? Anyway, I say all this because I was seen as the person that was negative, and I was always blaming them and saying, these are the ones that are doing this to me, right? So fast forward, I found myself in high school, and I have no idea what that story attaches to. So just have that in a little side compartment. Okay, so got to high school, and I didn't know what I wanted for myself. So I relied on the coaches to tell me how good I was going to be. And I used these external factors, right? So to college, same thing. I would ask the coach, how good do you think I'm going to be? What can I accomplish? And then I would take whatever their vision was and then use that as my vision. When I went pro, I said to myself, I don't have coaches to tell me what I can and can't do. So I'm going to create my own uh, goals for myself. And then I did, right? And it was in that moment, 2009, 2010, as a pro, I then realized how much control I had over my experiences in life. So then when I would think back to my childhood, I thought about all the things that I considered negative. And I said to myself, I was the victim in all those situations because I blamed everything outside of me. I used external factors to validate or disprove whatever belief systems that I had, right? So growing up, I was always seen as like they would see me as this troublemaker, right? When the reality was I wasn't. I never was. I was always trying to love on everybody. But whenever I would be my true self, I then would find myself in situations where people would be jealous of my joy, my happiness, the things that I was doing. And these kids were jealous of what I had and what I was doing, right? Or just I embodied a certain uh, persona or embodied a certain energy that they felt threatened by. And so I would then find myself dimming my own light to be a lesser version of myself so that I could appease them and allow them to shine. Well, this has been something that I've been battling through my whole life, right? I've been seeing this challenge. And as I grew older, I started to see that I'm going to continue being the best version of myself. I'm going to continue to push myself to, you know, be the first person to fall flat on their face. You've seen this whole process You can watch my first YouTube video and the most recent one, and you're going to see that I've come a long way, right? They ask me how I did it and all these things, and I tell them I just started it. Just start, like, throw yourself into the fire, and you'll figure out how to make changes. And so this video is for those athletes that, first, it's just look around at what your life is. Do you like your coaches? Do you like the school you're at? Do you enjoy track and field? Just like assess everything you have going on in your life. Is the life that you have now, is it fitting, you know, what you're looking for and what you want? If the answer is yes, great. Look into what it took to get there. If the answer is no, and you don't want this specific version of experiences you're getting, well, what are you doing to get there? So many times we say, I have a horrible coach and he or she's not doing this, not doing that. Well, the reality is you chose the coach. And then they'll say, no, I didn't. That's the coach that was hired by the school. True, it is. However, you chose to go to that school. Well, I didn't choose to go to the school. Well, the reality is, yes, maybe your parents chose the school for you to go to, or they live in a certain area, right? But at the end of the day, it's you chose to do the sport that has that coach, right? Yes, you can probably go layer after layer after layer of saying why you aren't the one to blame. But the reality is, what if you took the blame? What if you said, you know what, you're right, I am the source of this. The great thing about it is you can be the source to get yourself out of that situation. Okay. Um, Assessing all of the pros and cons is going to be very important, because you might be in a situation where you just hate it, right? And the first thing you think of is to get away, to remove yourself from the situation. The other side of it is, what if all these things are happening that you perceive as negative because of your desire to get to the next level, right? So here's an example. Let's say you're at a college that you just hate, right? Great. Think back to your high school experience. Did you apply yourself every single rep? Did you do the best you could? Did you work hard to get a 4-point plus GPA to get into a certain school, to get a full scholarship because of your GPA, right? Like, did you study enough to work on your form to help you become a better jumper or sprinter or hurdler, right? If you didn't apply yourself 100%, well, then is it possible that the selection of colleges that you had were because of your lack of choices and your lack of effort and things, resources, right? If that's true, then what are you complaining about that you don't have the resources that you wanted? If this coach is not meeting your standards, well, that's the reason why, right? I get it. It's a very extreme, right? But it's a possibility. And so now it's like, well, what if you say, I want to go to this certain school and I want to be the best athlete I can be, right? And then a year later, you change this goal to, I now want to win a national championship. Well, you just changed your destination, which means now you get to change your surrounding environment. The surrounding environment is now changing in favor of where you need to go. And what if you perform better as a pissed off athlete? When you're pissed off, you get angry and you put out your best jumps. But now you're pissed off at who? The coach. Well, that's the only person that's around you the most amount of time per week. So now when you compete, you automatically see this coach, and then you compete pissed off because of the coach. The coach reminds you that the coach is a trigger for you to remind you to stay on pace for where you're going. That makes sense? Okay. So the reality is the coach is being this evil nemesis because you set the destination to be the best version of you, better than what you had before. Excuse me. You made a change on what it is that you're doing. So What I'm getting at is sometimes you ask for things and you run away from it because it shows up. It makes no sense. If you want to be a national champion and then the first thing that shows up in the morning is a letter saying, hey, you know what? You didn't meet the requirements for our team this semester. You're going to lose your scholarship. Don't look at it and say, I hate this team. I hate this. I hate that. It's you just made the change. So then now it showed up at your front door. You must change towards where you're going. Everything that's happening is in favor of where you're going. So it's not that you need to quit, it's that you need to change who you are as a person, change your belief systems, and change the route that you're going, because the route that you're going is in the direction of where your new destination is. Okay? I'm going to just hammer in another analogy, even though you may understand it. But let's say there's a person who every single day works hard at McDonald's, and their thing is, I now have a goal that I want to make $1 million per day. Well, if the next day they get fired from McDonald's for whatever reasons, they're having layoffs or whatever, you can't get mad at McDonald's for firing you. There's no one to get mad at. The reality is, can you receive $1 million a day working at McDonald's? If the answer is no, well, then you need to remove yourself from McDonald's to now sit at home. And instead of working 8 hours a day, you're now working 0 hours a day, thinking of a plan to make $1 million per day. Stop being the victim. Every single thing is happening in favor of your destination. If you don't have a destination set, you're going to be in a random place, randomly, with random things happening. So don't get upset that you don't have a destination set. Just as if you show up to a restaurant to eat and you have no idea what you want, well, then the longer you're sitting here deciding what you want, the longer you are waiting to eat. And don't get upset if someone then says, well, I know what I want. I'm ordering. Waiter can come back and get your food, but I want to order my food now. Don't get irritated with that. So what I'm getting at with this whole thing is, hopefully you're like hearing what I'm saying and it's resonating with you. It's all your fault. You get to be the one to make the changes. Go with the decision that you feel is the best for you, not the one that is the most comfortable. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that are right for you. Sometimes quitting is the best situation for you. Sometimes sticking with it is the best situation for you. I don't have an answer for you. You do. It's in your gut and you're going to feel it. Whenever something feels a certain way, that's where you should go. I heard this quote somewhere, I forgot who it was from, but the word intention. When you have a certain intention, the more intense it is in your feeling of it, the better it is for you, right? So if I say to myself, I'm going to do 10 push-ups, that's my intention, is to do 10 push-ups today. Okay, boom, 10, done. If I say I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups today, and that's my intention, I might be like, woo, 1,000? Like, knees up or knees down? Like, which, and how long, right? Well, that creates tension within my body. I have resistance around that, right? That means I'm in the right place. So then I would figure out, do I want to be that intentional or back off a little bit and maybe meet at 500, right? Either way, I can feel what my goals mean to what pressure the goals actually have on my physical body. So when you're setting your goals for the year, for the day, for the season, you can feel which ones are realistic and which ones aren't. If you say this is possible, then it's not the best thing for you. If you say, wow, that's not even close. No way. Great. You're closer to your goals. Then work your way back from there. Okay? I could go on and on with this, but at the end of the day it's all your fault, which is a great thing. Continue setting your own narrative, continue setting your own goals, continue taking the blame for everything, because it is you that can get you out of it, and only you. No one believes in you more than yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, then no one else will believe in you more than you. Okay? So you decide what you want from yourself. And when you are steadfast and you are hungry for what you want to achieve, then there's going to be haters, but it's also going to be people that support you. But at the end of the day, those haters are there because you created your own goals. The people that support you are there because you told them to support you. You get what I'm saying? It's all your fault. Make it happen and have a wonderful track and field season. It's crunch time. It's championship season. Make it happen. All right. Till next time.